Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with the Midday News. The headlines. Union budget sets pace for India to become Atmanirbhar through stimulus and reforms, says Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in Lok Sabha. Government approves additional amount of over 3,000 crore rupees to 5 states affected by floods, cyclones and pest attack last year. Second dose of COVID-19 vaccine being administered to healthcare workers across the country. Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Singh Puri says country almost touching pre-COVID numbers in air travel. World Radio Day being celebrated across the globe today. Vice President and Prime Minister greet listeners on the occasion. And in cricket, India were 184 for 3 against England on opening day of second test match at Chennai when reports last came in. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has said the Union budget for 2021-22 has set the pace for India to become Atmanirbhar through reforms and stimulus. The Finance Minister was replying to the general discussion on the Union budget for 2021-22 in the Lok Sabha this morning.
India to become Atmanirbhar even after the pandemic and even as the pandemic is probably reviving in some countries because we had an approach which was very spearheaded from the front by the Prime Minister himself. We've had a kind of retraction in the pandemic. The death rates are the lowest in the world. Active cases have come down. We have actually managed to bend the curve. And as a result, the revival of the economy looks a lot more sustainable. And this budget, therefore, gives the necessary impetus.
Ms. Sitharaman added that reforms taken up by the government will lay the path for making India one of the top economies of the world. The Finance Minister said the government took the challenge as an opportunity and took steps for the long-term growth of the economy. Ms. Sitharaman rejected the allegations of the opposition parties about the reduction in the budget allocation for various schemes. She said the budget provisions have been misread. Talking about the budget allocation made for various sectors, the minister said 1,15,000 crore rupees have been transferred to more than 10 crore farmers under the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi scheme.
Benefits worth 1.15 lakh crores have been transferred to the bank accounts of 10.75 crore farmers scheme of Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Yojana. 1920B to 2021B, the allocation of 75,000 crores was made under the scheme. Of course, in the RE of 2020-21, the allocation has been rationalized. I'll tell you why reduction. 65,000 it became because our estimate was that 69 lakh estimated farmers from West Bengal have not received as per our allocation because the list hadn't come to us, and when we included 69 lakh farmers into the account and gave 75,000 crores, but it couldn't be utilized, therefore in RE it came down to 65,000.
Ms. Sitharaman said allocation to the defence sector has been increased by 18.8% in comparison to the previous allocation. She added that increase in capital expenditure will improve the demand for the core industries and generate employment. She said the government has taken holistic steps for developing health infrastructure by making water and sanitation a key component of the health sector. The Finance Minister also rebutted the allegations of the opposition for helping the crony capitalists. She said the NDA government has taken steps for the welfare of poor, farmers, small and medium business who are not crony capitalists. She said poor people have benefited from the various initiatives, including Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Swanidhi Yojana and Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. She says a total of 29.87 crore rupees have been provided under 3 Atmanirbhar packages and Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana. In a sharp attack on the Congress party's stand in the Lok Sabha during the discussion on the budget, the finance minister said it has become the tendency of the party to propagate false narratives and demean the sanctity of the constitutional bodies. She said the Congress does not believe in parliamentary democracy. Raising 10 questions and seeking explanation from the Congress party, Ms. Sitharaman asked why Congress took a U-turn on the farm reforms when it was mentioned in their 2019 manifesto. She further added that the Congress announces loan waiver for farmers before polls but never implements it. She asserted that not a single agriculture produce marketing committee has been closed in the country, and on the contrary, budget provisions have been made to provide assistance to the states to improve the infrastructure of the APMCs.
APMC देश भर में कहीं ये तीनों कानून आने के बाद बंद हुआ है क्या? कहीं बंद नहीं हुआ. मेरा एक्सपेक्टेशन के साथ अभी प्रश्न भी पूछ रही हूँ. Prove even if one APMC मंडी was shut. Not one was shut. ऊपर से बजट में प्रावधान किया गया है that 30,000 crores which will be collected through that agricultural development infrastructure set will be actually be going to the states so that APMC infrastructure can be improved. हम ऊपर से फंड भी दे रहे हैं स्टेट्स को APMC का इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बढ़ाने के लिए.
Further attacking the Congress, she said the party made a paradigm shift from hybrid socialism adopted after independence to sudden liberalization of the economy in early 90s. Ms. Sitharaman said from the days of Jan Sangh to BJP, her party has always followed the ideology of supporting the Indian economy by respecting wealth creators and honest citizens. The Rajya Sabha concluded the first part of the budget session yesterday following the Finance Minister's reply to the discussion on the Union budget in the upper house. The Rajya Sabha recorded 99% productivity in the 2-week-long first part of the session. The second part of the budget session will commence from the 8th of March.
The Lok Sabha has taken up the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganisation Amendment Bill 2021 for consideration and passing. Moving the bill, Minister of State for Home G. Kishan Reddy said the bill seeks to merge the J&K cadre with the AG-MUT cadre for all India services. Leaders of the Congress in the Lok Sabha, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, said government showed a lot of dreams while bringing in the bill, but Jammu and Kashmir has not returned to normalcy. TMC leader Swagat Roy said development has come to a standstill in the place. The discussion is on. The government has proposed over 93,224 crore rupees for Ministry of Education, the Union Budget 2021-2022. Out of the total allocation, over 54,873 crore rupees have been kept for Department of School Education and Literacy and nearly 38,350 crore rupees for Department of Higher Education. While presenting the Union Budget 2021-22 in Parliament, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman announced setting up of 100 new Sainik schools in partnerships with non-governmental organizations, private schools and states.
In school education, more than 15,000 schools will be qualitatively strengthened to include all components of the national education policy. They shall emerge as exemplar schools in their regions, hand-holding and mentoring other schools to achieve the ideals of policy. 100 new Sainik schools will be set up in partnership with NGOs, private schools and states. Higher education. In Budget 2019-20, I had mentioned about the setting up of a Higher Education Commission in India. We would be introducing the legislation this year to implement the same. It will be an umbrella body having 4 separate vehicles for standard setting, accreditation, regulation and funding.
More from a correspondent.
The budget allocation for Department of Higher Education for 2021-22 is nearly 5,450 crore rupees more than the revised estimates of current year. The government has made a budgetary provision of 3,000 crore rupees for Rashtriya Uchtar Shiksha Abhiyan for financial year 2021-22 in comparison to 300 crore rupees of the current fiscal year. For promotion of innovation and research and development, an outlay of 50,000 crore rupees over next 5 years has been kept for National Research Foundation. Its major beneficiaries will be higher education institutions including IITs, universities and NITs. The Finance Minister also announced to set up a new Central University in Lakh. The budget provision for Department of School Education and Literacy has also been increased, and it is 2,684 crore rupees more than the revised estimates of 2020-21. The budget allocation in the flagship scheme of Samagra Shiksha has been increased to nearly 31,050 crore rupees. Anand Kumar, AIR News, Delhi.
The high-level committee under the chairmanship of Home Minister Amit Shah has approved additional central assistance of over 3,113 crore rupees under the National Disaster Response Fund to 5 states which were affected by floods, cyclones and pest attack during 2020. The high-level committee approved over 1,255 crore rupees for Bihar and 280 crore rupees for Andhra Pradesh, which were affected by floods during southwest monsoon last year. Nearly 287 crore rupees has been approved for Tamil Nadu, which was affected by cyclones Burevi and Nivar. Nearly 10 crore rupees has been approved for Union Territory of Puducherry, which was affected by cyclone Nivar. The high-level committee approved over 1,280 crore rupees for Madhya Pradesh for pest attack during Kharif 2020. While approving the additional central assistance, Home Minister Amit Shah said the Union government under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi has resolved to help the people of Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Tamil Nadu, Puducherry and Madhya Pradesh who braved these natural disasters. The central government had deputed interministerial central teams immediately after the calamities without waiting for the receipt of a memorandum from the affected state governments. In addition to this, the centre has released over 19,036 crore rupees to 28 states during the financial year 2020-21 till date from the state's Disaster Risk Management Fund and over 4,409 crore rupees to 11 states from the National State Disaster Risk Management Fund.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Union budget sets pace for India to become Atmanirbhar through stimulus and reforms, says Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in Lok Sabha. Government approves additional amount of over 3,000 crore rupees to 5 states affected by floods, cyclones and pest attack last year. Second dose of COVID-19 vaccine will administered to healthcare workers across the country. Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Singh Puri says country almost touching pre-COVID numbers in air travel. World Radio Day been celebrated across the globe today. Vice President and Prime Minister greet listeners on the occasion. And in cricket, India were 188 for 3 against England on the opening day of the second test match at Chennai when reports last came in. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
Welcome back to the Midday News. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Tamil Nadu and Kerala tomorrow. In Tamil Nadu, the Prime Minister will hand over the state-of-the-art Arjun main battle tank Mk1A to the Indian Army at Chennai. Mr. Modi will also inaugurate the Chennai Metro Rail Phase 1 extension and commission the passenger services from Washermanpet to Wimco Nagar. The Prime Minister will lay the foundation stones for several projects and inaugurate the 4th railway line between Chennai Beach and Attipattu. More from our Chennai correspondent.
Security has been stepped up ahead of Prime Minister's visit to Chennai. It has virtually turned a fortress with the deployment of more than 6,000 security personnel. The Prime Minister will arrive tomorrow morning and will participate in the function to be held at Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium. PM will inaugurate the 9-kilometer-long extension of the metro project from Washermanpet to Wimco Nagar, which is predominantly an area at North Chennai, a place for small and cottage industries. People have expressed happiness at this project.
शंकरलाल राजपुरोहित, ये मेट्रो आने से तो बहुत ही अच्छा ही काम है. जो जब कि हमको जाना पड़ता है कोई रेलवे स्टेशन कोई बेड वेड तो बहुत अच्छा रहता है ना. और हमारा घर भी पांडे नेटर वनारपेट में, जब ट्रैफिक में फंस जाते हैं कभी कभी तो मेट्रो में बैठेंगे तो सीधे स्टेशन में जाके घर पहुंच जाते हैं समय पर. अच्छा ही है.
Prime Minister will also hand over the indigenously designed and developed Arjun main battle tank Mk1A to the Indian Army. Joy, AIR News, Chennai.
In Kerala, Prime Minister Modi will dedicate to the nation the propylene derivative petrochemical project of Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited. He will also dedicate to the nation the ro-ro vessels at Willingdon Islands, Cochin. The Prime Minister will inaugurate the International Cruise Terminal Sagarika at Cochin Port. He will also inaugurate the Marine Engineering Training Institute at Vigyan Sagar. A Central Election Commission team led by Chief Election Commissioner Sunil Arora is in Thiruvananthapuram to review poll preparedness for the upcoming assembly polls in Kerala. Besides the Chief Election Commissioner, the team also comprises Election Commissioners Sushil Chandra, Rajiv Kumar and other senior officials. The team is currently holding meetings with the state's Chief Electoral Officer, Tikaram Meena, and police nodal officers. Subsequently, they will meet representatives from various political parties. In the evening, the team is expected to meet district-level electoral officers and superintendents of police on various security precautions regarding the forthcoming assembly elections. Tomorrow, the Chief Secretary, the Home Secretary, the State Police Chief and other senior officers will interact with the central team. The team will have further discussions with the state's Chief Electoral Officer before they return to Delhi on Monday.
The second dose of COVID-19 vaccine has been administered to the healthcare workers from today. It will be given to the beneficiaries who have taken the first dose on the 16th of January, the day when the world's biggest immunization drive was launched. The second dose is given to the beneficiaries after an interval of 28 days from the first dose. Speaking exclusively to AIR News, Dr. Randeep Guleria, director at AIMS, said, as soon as people are vaccinated, the country will come out of the pandemic.
I would request everyone who is due for the second dose, according to his convenience, to come forward and take the second dose. I would also request all those who have not taken the first dose also to come forward and take the first dose of the vaccine also. By getting everyone vaccinated as early as possible, we will be able to come out of this pandemic in a very smooth manner.
In West Bengal, a second dose of COVID-19 vaccine has been administered to the health workers today. Talking to AIR News, the Director of the State Medical Services, Dr. Ajay Chakraborty, said that since this morning, 19 persons have taken the second dose of Covishield at SSKM Hospital in Kolkata. At the same time, administering the first dose has also been carried out throughout the state. The country's COVID-19 recovery rate is improved to 97.32% as a total of 11,395 patients recovered in the last 24 hours. The total number of recoveries has gone up to 1,06,625. The Health Ministry said the actual caseload currently comprises only 1.25% of the total positive cases. Presently, the total number of active cases in the country is 1,36,571. The Ministry also informed that 79,67,647 beneficiaries have been administered COVID-19 vaccines so far. In the past 24 hours, 12,143 new cases were reported, taking the total number of positive cases in the country to 1,08,92,746.
Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Singh Puri today said the country is almost touching pre-COVID numbers in air travel. In a tweet, the minister said over 2,97,102 passengers travelled on 2,349 flights yesterday. He said it is the highest number of travellers since the resumption of domestic flights on the 25th of May. Mr. Puri said with air travel emerging as a preferred mode of travel due to safety, efficiency and time saving, we are almost touching pre-COVID numbers. The News Services Division of All India Radio in its bilingual live phone-in program tonight will bring you a special discussion on COVID-19. Dr. Sanjeev Kumar from AIMS in Patna will participate in the discussion. This can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. Listeners can ask questions to the expert on toll-free telephone number 1-800-115767. You can also ask questions on telephone number 011-2331-4444 and post queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR.
The central government introduced hemodialysis under the Pradhan Mantri National Dialysis Program PMNDP in 2016. The scope of the scheme has been extended to peritoneal dialysis PD to help patients get an affordable and accessible treatment remotely. With the inclusion of the home-based dialysis, the government seeks to bring down the overall cost of the treatment. More from our Ahmedabad correspondent.
There are about 20 lakh kidney patients in India. The people having comorbidities like chronic kidney disease and on dialysis are at an increased risk of contracting the deadly virus. The ongoing pandemic has given impetus to more advanced and convenient technology for home-based dialysis treatment such as peritoneal dialysis. This is cost-effective and improves the lifestyle of the patients. It is a painless and needle-free process. Dr. Hardik Patel, consultant nephrologist at Muljibai Patel Urological Hospital of Nadiyad, said that the knowledge and awareness will help in popularize this technique. Yogesh Pandya, Air News, Ahmedabad.
In Uttarakhand, rescue and search operation is continuing on the 6th consecutive day. Till date, 38 bodies have been recovered and around 166 people are still missing. Our correspondent covering the calamity at Ground Zero reports that the rescue team has successfully made way to another tunnel which may lead to the trapped persons.
Garhwal Commissioner Ravinath Raman spoke exclusively to AIR News and said that rescue teams have successfully reached to the second tunnel, which is beneath the present tunnel, and now trying to expand the diameter of the hole so that camera and other equipments can be sent inside the second tunnel. He also said that relief work is going on 24/7 as well as the search operation also continues for the missing persons along with the river. Raman assured that there is no need to panic regarding the formation of lake in the upper Himalayan region as the water is coming out from 20-meter long mouth of the lake. With Ragvesh Pandey in Dehradun, this is Sushil Chandra Tiwari, Rani Village, Tapovan, Chamoli.
President Ramnath Kovind has appointed Justice Puligoru Venkata Sanjay Kumar as the Chief Justice of the Manipur High Court. A notification in this regard has been issued by Ministry of Law and Justice yesterday. Justice Puligoru Venkata Sanjay Kumar is presently Judge of the Punjab and Haryana High Court. The President has appointed Pushpa Virendra Ganediwala as an additional judge of the Bombay High Court. Opponents of Myanmar's military coup held mass protests for the 8th straight day as continuing arrests of critics of the military added to the anger in the wake of detention of elected leader Aung San Suu Kyi. The 47-member UN Human Rights Council adopted a resolution yesterday calling on Myanmar to release Suu Kyi and other officials from detention and refrain from using violence on protesters. The United Nations Human Rights Office said more than 350 people, including officials, activists and monks, have been arrested in Myanmar since the coup on the 1st of February.
World Radio Day has been celebrated today across the globe. The day was proclaimed by the member states of United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization UNESCO in 2011 and subsequently adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 2021 as an international day. We have a desk report.
Radio is one of the most widely consumed medium across the world. It has the ability to reach out to the widest audience, in the process shaping a society's experience of diversity and providing a platform for everyone to be represented and heard. According to UNESCO, radio is a powerful medium for celebrating humanity and constitutes a platform for democratic discourse. The theme of World Radio Day this year is New World, New Radio. It will highlight the services rendered by the radio medium throughout the crisis. This is Saira Mujtaba, News Desk.
As the world celebrates Radio Day today, we fondly recall the legendary voices that enthralled the listeners of All India Radio News. Who can forget the baritone voice of iconic radio broadcaster Melville D. Mello, which inspired many in the country to become voice artists and newsreaders? He is remembered for his high-quality reports and commentary on various events in the country. One of the most notable was a 7-hour broadcast of Mahatma Gandhi's funeral in Delhi. For the present-day listeners, we are giving a glimpse of that vintage voice.
Now as the flames begin to lick, a roar goes up from the crowd. Now the fire is caught and more people of sandalwood are being placed. Garlands being flung into the air, policemen's sticks being raised to try and keep the crowds down. We're trying to move in closer to get a last glimpse of the father of our nation.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have greeted people on World Radio Day. In his message, the Vice President called upon all the stakeholders to utilize the medium to impart knowledge in areas such as education, agriculture, culture, science and technology and empower the listeners. On the occasion, the Prime Minister greeted all the listeners of radio and congratulated all those who keep the radio buzzing with innovative content and music. He heaped praise on the radio as a fantastic medium that deepens social connect. Mr. Modi said that he had personally experienced the positive impact of radio thanks to the Mann Ki Baat program aired on All India Radio every month. Information and Broadcasting Mr. Prakash Javadekar also extended greetings on the occasion. In a video message, Mr. Javadekar said the expansion of radio is continuously increasing.
रेडियो का प्रसार बढ़ रहा है, लोग रेडियो सुनते हैं, खेत खलियान में काम पर, चाय की टपरी पर टीवी नहीं दिख सकते। सोशल मीडिया एक मर्यादा के बाद टेलीफोन में पढ़ते रहना असंभव होता है। रेडियो सुनना ये एक अपनी विरासत भी है और रेडियो सुनना बहुत आनंद भी है। जिस तरह से मोबाइल में ही रेडियो आ गया, तो पॉकेट में मोबाइल है, कान में तार है, स्पीकर है और सुनते रहो, तो ये अनुभव रेडियो का है। इसलिए रेडियो डे के उपलक्ष्य में मेरी बहुत सारी शुभकामनाएं।
On World Radio Day, Chief Executive Officer Prasar Bharati, Shashi Shekhar Vempati, praised News on AIR mobile application of All India Radio as a unique innovation with wide reach.
Today is World Radio Day, and I think what we did with the News on Air app to put 200 plus live streams on a mobile app for radio anywhere in India, I think is a fantastic innovation. I don't think any broadcaster in the world has that. So all of that is going to create avenues for our digital growth going forward. But all of this will happen only if we transform the way we work. We have to think cloud, we have to think automated, we have to think IT and software and algorithms. That's the only way this change is going to happen. We cannot operate the way we operated in the past. I think that's the imperative, that's the need of the hour.
The Jammu and Kashmir police has arrested a Kiritai terrorist during a surprise raid in Sambar district of Jammu division last night. According to reports, a police team from Anantnag district acting on a lead laid a siege in Sambar area of Jammu region and arrested a terrorist, Zahur Ahmad Rater alias Khalid alias Sahil. He killed 3 BJP workers in Kulgam last year and 1 policeman at Pura in Kulgam district. The arrested terrorist is being brought to Kashmir for further investigations. In cricket, India were 189 for 3 against England at tea on the opening day of the second test match at Chennai. For the hosts, Rohit Sharma scored his 7th test century in just 130 balls with 14 boundaries and 2 sixes. Earlier, India won the toss and elected to bat in the morning, but soon suffered a setback because of Shubman Gill's early departure to pacer Ollie Stone. Thereafter, Rohit added 85 runs for the second wicket with Cheteshwar Pujara, who fell to Ben Stokes. Just before lunch, Moeen Ali scalped the prize wicket of skipper Virat Kohli. The hosts will try to pull off a victory in the second test as they were mauled by a huge margin by the visitors in the first game of the 4-match series.
Now let us take a look at the weather update for the day. National capital Delhi faced haze in the morning. Minimum temperature recorded was 11 degrees Celsius and maximum will be around 27 degrees. Mumbai will have mainly clear sky with temperature varying between 17 and 33 degrees Celsius. Chennai will have generally cloudy sky. The temperature will fluctuate between 22 and 30 degrees Celsius. Kolkata saw fog in the morning and will have partly cloudy sky later. Minimum temperature was 18 degrees Celsius and maximum may go up to 30 degrees. Jammu will see partly cloudy sky becoming generally cloudy towards afternoon or evening or night. The minimum temperature in the city was 12 degrees Celsius while maximum will be around 20 degrees. Srinagar will see generally cloudy sky. Minimum temperature in the city was -1 degree Celsius, while it is expected to rise up to around 10 degrees Celsius. Leh will see mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature was -9 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 6 degrees. Gilgit will have mainly clear sky. Temperature will hover between -1 and 19 degrees Celsius.
In some more news, Punjab has become the 13th state in the country to successfully undertake One Nation, One Ration Card system reform. The state has become eligible to mobilize additional financial resources of 1,516 crore rupees through open market borrowings. 12 other states who have completed this reform are Andhra Pradesh, Goa, Gujarat, Haryana, Karnataka, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Tripura and Uttar Pradesh. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Union budget sets pace for India to become Atmanirbhar through stimulus and reforms, says Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in Lok Sabha. Government approves additional amount of over 3,000 crore rupees to 5 states affected by floods, cyclones and pest attack last year. Second dose of COVID-19 vaccine being administered to healthcare workers across the country. Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Singh Puri says country almost touching pre-COVID numbers in air travel. World Radio Day being celebrated across the globe today. Vice President and Prime Minister greet listeners on the occasion. And in cricket, India were 189 for 3 against England at tea on opening day of second test match at Chennai when reports last came in. And with that, we end the midday news.